Have you ever wondered what makes an investor say yes? It's not just about having a great idea. It's about telling a great story and telling it with real precision. So today, we're going to deconstruct a real-world investor pitch for a modern MRI center, and we're going to uncover the exact formula for a presentation that actually gets funded.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to break this down into 5 essential acts. We'll see how this pitch starts by setting up a really painful problem, then presents a super elegant solution, proves there's a market, builds trust with a clear roadmap, and then, finally, closes with the financial payoff. And this part right here is absolutely crucial. You see, investors don't just fund cool projects. They fund solutions to massive, painful problems. So the first job of any pitch is to make that pain feel real and urgent. Let's see how they pull it off.
The power of this is just how simple and stark it is. It doesn't start with a whole paragraph. It just hits you with a number. 6 to 10 weeks. I mean, think about that. That's not just an inconvenience. For a patient waiting on a critical diagnosis, that's an eternity. This one single data point immediately establishes the human cost and the failure in the system.
And then they just layer on another piece of the puzzle. So it's not just that the system is slow, it's also old. Equipment that's over a decade old? That can mean lower precision, maybe even compromised diagnoses. So now the problem has 2 dimensions, time and quality.
This is such a brilliant transition. It basically stops and asks the audience, hey, connect the dots. For patients, it obviously means anxiety and potentially worse outcomes. But for an investor, what does it mean? Well, it means there's a huge underserved market opportunity just hiding in plain sight. And here's where they tie it all together. The last few slides built the emotional case. This one packages it all up logically for the investor's brain. It lays out 4 really clear, distinct barriers. It's the perfect setup for the solution to come in and just knock them down, one by one. So now that the investor is really feeling the pain of the problem, it's time to present the cure. A great solution is always a direct response to a really well-defined problem. Let's see how this pitch delivers.
This is one of the most powerful slides you can have in any pitch deck. Just a simple side-by-side comparison. I mean, look at how every single element of the solution on the right directly solves the problem from the left. Long waits? Boom, 48-hour service. Outdated tech? Here's a modern scanner. It's like a visual knockout punch that just says, we get the problem, and we have the exact answer.
What's so important here is how the pitch frames these features. They're not just, a list of bullet points. They're the 4 pillars that hold up the entire business and create a real defensible moat against any competitors.
Okay, so a great solution is fantastic, but investors need to know it can become a great business. This whole section is about answering one question. How big is this opportunity really, and how are you going to win?
And they start with the hook, a big, clean number that immediately gets an investor to sit up and pay attention. 1.5 million euros. See, this isn't some small-time project. This is a venture with serious scale. It completely frames the rest of the conversation.
This slide is really smart because of its honesty. It shows they have a deep understanding of the market. They've mapped out their competitors' strengths, but more importantly, their weaknesses. And notice how our MRI center is perfectly positioned to attack those weaknesses: the long waits of the public system and the high prices and limited locations of the private guys. It carves out this unique, winning space in the market.
Okay, so we've got a problem, a solution, and a market. But investors, they bet on execution. This next section is all about building trust. It's about proving you don't just have an idea. You have a concrete, step-by-step plan to actually make it happen.
First, you get the high-level view. This shows logical, structured thinking. They've taken a really complex 2-year project and broken it down into 7 manageable phases. It basically tells the investor, hey, we've thought this through from start to finish. Then, the pitch drills down from those high-level phases into this really detailed month-by-month timeline. This is where you earn an investor's confidence. It shows foresight, it anticipates hurdles like permits and procurement, and it proves that the 24-month target is based on reality, not just wishful thinking.
And now we get to the moment of truth. This is where the whole story pivots from vision to value. The ask is where you have to clearly state what you need, what you're going to do with it, and, most importantly, what the financial return is going to be for the investor. This is just financial transparency at its best. Instead of just asking for 5 million euros, they break down exactly where every single cent is going to go. The majority, 55%, goes to the core asset, the scanner itself.
This shows really responsible financial planning and tells an investor that their capital is going to be used intelligently.
What this slide does is demonstrate a really resilient business model. This isn't a company that's relying on just one source of income. By showing these diversified revenue streams, from individual patients to business contracts, they de-risk the investment and show there are multiple paths to hitting that €1.5 million target.
And there it is, the final and probably most important number. After all the storytelling, the problem, the solution, the plan, it all boils down to this: the payoff. A projected 1.5 to 2 times return on their investment. This is the clear, compelling promise that makes an investor lean in and get serious.
So, let's just recap the key ingredients here for a winning pitch. It really is a formula. You start with a real, quantifiable market need. You prove their strong, scalable growth potential. You present an attractive and de-risked financial model with high profitability targets and a clear exit path. And in this case, it all comes with that powerful bonus of a tangible social impact.
So we've just walked through the blueprint for turning a powerful idea into a business that people actually want to fund. It's a structure built on logic, data, and a really compelling story. The only question left is, what's the story you're going to tell?